Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Relax.Cut.Glue. If you're new here, welcome. I am so happy to have y'all here with me today. So I am starting a new composition notebook glue book. I know that I haven't finished this little chunky glue book yet, but I will eventually. But I need another bigger one. This is one that was sent to me a while back. I've been kind of hoarding it because I love it. It's little granny squares. And you guys, I don't know if you know this, but I'm obsessed with granny squares. And I tried to teach myself how to make them. I can't. Anywho, this has 80 pages in it, I believe. So I am going to be removing some pages. So I'm going to open this up right to the middle here. Give this a little flat press here. Now, in a composition notebook, basically these are one sheet of paper that are folded in half to give you two pieces of paper, right? So I am going to be removing these out of the middle, and I'm going to be very careful with my strings here because I don't want to pull on them. That will loosen them even more than they already are. And so instead of just kind of, you know, pulling these up together, I'm just going to remove one side, and that way this side will come off really easy, except for the top is still stuck in there. There we go. This one, these papers are in here pretty tight, so they come out a little harder. So anyway, so that's this right here was one piece of paper. Now it's two, and this is 4 gluing surfaces. Each piece of paper is 2 gluing surfaces because you have the front and you have the back. So we've already eliminated 4 gluing surfaces. So I'm just going to keep going. I forgot to look to see how many I took out of my last one, but I'm just gonna, you know, go with the flow. And I'm being really gentle when I'm doing this because, again, I do not want to put a lot of pressure on these strings. They are going to loosen up as I remove some pages, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I don't want them to be too loose, because then all my pages will come out of the book. And I'm starting in the middle because if you notice when you work in the composition notebook, the spine is all like tight right here, right? So the middle eventually isn't here anymore. It gets pushed out. So see how the middle is getting pushed out here? That's why I'm removing the middle portion first. Or that's why I'm removing the middle portion. Okay, so I can see my strings are finally starting to get just a little bit loose, and that's okay. I'm keeping an eye on them, not tugging hard because I don't want to loosen them any more than they already have to be. Okay, so we have, I'm going to count by 2s because I count each page as 2 gluing surfaces. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 26, and 28. Okay, so that's 28 gluing surfaces. I'm going to keep going. Let's remove just a few more here. So that's 30 now, or no, 32 now. 36, 38, and 40. Okay, so I'm going to remove 40 gluing surfaces. I'm going to stop now because my string is starting to pop out. So my strings are a little bit loose here, not a problem. I'll show you what we're going to do here. So I am going to grab some washi tape. And before I put my washi tape down the middle of my spine here, I am going to take my glue stick and I am going to really, really glue these strings. Not only will this help keep the strings where they're at, but the washi tape will hold it down as well and make it even stronger. All right, here we go. Now, is it necessary to remove paper from your composition notebook? It depends on who you ask. Some people love a super messy, chunky glue book. I don't. And quite honestly, the bigger reason is by the time I get to like this point with like this one is, it's almost hard to work in because the pages are so rounded in the spine. Like, I can still work in this one, but I also removed some pages. But when it gets to the point where it's just too hard to work in anymore, it's not fun for me. So I removed some of my pages for that reason. I am going to overlap this on either side here just a little bit. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because I got glue out a little bit further than I wanted. So let's just overlap this just a wee bit. Like that. It'll only make things stronger anyway, so we're good with that. Okay. You can also, after you put your first middle piece in, if you want, you can then glue these two pieces together, just this one sheet if you want. I recently did that with one of my other glue books that I just made, or I did that recently with another composition notebook. Okay, so there we go. We have our pieces on there. I'm going to grab my bone folder and really make sure that I press this down, being careful with the spine area. I don't want to rip my washi tape or rip the paper. So what I'm doing here is, you can see the string. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm taking my bone folder on the outside of the string. So I'm basically wrapping that washi tape around the string. So it is like stuck in there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, there we go. Now let's just chop off this extra hanging over the edge. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to start a new one. Full-size composition notebooks are one of my favorites to work in. Which is crazy because I usually prefer to work in books that have a spiral binding because your book lays flat. But I don't know, there's just something special about working in a composition notebook. Okay, so now that is all clean, pristine, and ready to rip. I'm just going to rub this down one more time. No extra charge. All right, so there we go. Here is my composition notebook now. So I removed 20 single pieces of paper, which means I removed 40 gluing surfaces. I think that's good. I'm going to write it down so I remember. Now with these leftover papers, you can always sew them and make another glue book out of them if you want. With another glue book that or another composition notebook that I cut up, I made this little list here and just used a binder clip for my grocery list. So you can do lots of things. You can use these for jelly prints, for doodles, for writing letters, making little notepads, you know, to write down some notes or whatnot. So you can do lots of stuff with these papers for sure. Okay, so my next step would be to start adding some backgrounds in my book. Now, yesterday with the glue crew, I did some jelly printing, and I used calligraphy paper, which is quite thin, and it was my first time using calligraphy paper, and I really liked it. So I was thinking I could use some of these in here. So I am going to, do these fit like, oh gosh, these are perfect. Okay, so I'm going to trim all the white off of these papers really quick here, and then I'm going to start gluing them in. So this calligraphy paper is really interesting. I got it at Daiso. I've never used calligraphy paper before, so the back side is shiny and smooth, but this side, the calligraphy side, is kind of like rice paper. So it's really interesting to use. It's a bit fragile when you use it. In other words, it's quite fragile when it's wet, but you know, just don't mess around with it when it's wet and you'll be fine. And it's bigger than my jelly plate, so I love that because then I get, you know, it's so hard to put the paper, well, it's not hard, but it's kind of annoying to make sure that your paper is the same exact size, you know, to like lay it on there. Anyways, okay, I'm going to go cut all this up. Looks like I need a new blade already. Geesh. And then I'll be right back. Now that I have all my papers cut, I am going to use this piece of paper and put it right here on the front because I don't want to look at this. So I'm just going to use one of those pieces of paper that I ripped out of here earlier. Let's just go like that. And I am going to glue over this whole thing. I have a glue stick here that's almost gone. So I like to use those for covering things like this. Okay. This is another good glue stick. It's Elmer's Extra Strength Permanent Non-Toxic Glue. It's rather spendy, but it does go on like really good sale, like 50% off or something like that. So I only buy it when it's on sale because it's pretty expensive. Any kind of, you know, glue stick that's not really meant for children is going to be spendy. Okay. But it works really well. All right, so let's glue this piece of paper. Actually, I like to turn my paper this way so I can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm just gonna glue this on here. I'm not gonna go all the way up to the edge. I'm gonna go to about where the stitching is because the paper sometimes will curl up a little bit there. But then I also like to usually add a piece of washi right here, but you don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Okay. I'm going to press this down to get out any air, smush that glue, making sure that it's all the way stuck to the paper, especially on those edges. You really want to make sure you get those. I'm going to go to the front here and the corners. All right. Let's trim this off now. Oh, it's so easy to trim the cover. My childhood did not adequately prepare me for the cars of the future. Let me explain. A couple months ago, I bought a new car. And I have not had a new car in 19 years. So it was a big deal. And my new car does things I had no idea cars could do. Okay. The other day I'm driving and we have a lot of construction going on in our area. And you had to like move over. Well, my car shows like if I'm driving right in the lines or whatever. So if I go over the line, which I had to do because we were directed that way. My steering wheel will go like that, which is startling, right? It is like a game of operation, okay? Like that game was to prepare us for cars in the future that vibrate when you're out of pocket. So I about had a heart attack when my steering wheel went. It's like the adult version of the game of operation, these new cars, all right? I about had a heart attack. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that looks great. It's very smooth. I do not see a single air bubble in it. It's like a professional did it, but a professional did not. All right, there we go. That looks great. Okay, so now let's go to my jelly prints on my calligraphy paper. Now, let me know in the comments, have you used calligraphy paper before? Because I have not. I saw it at Daiso and decided to grab some. I will say that my paper trimmer doesn't like cutting it, so I think next time I'll use my X-Acto and a ruler. Sorry, I couldn't speak for a second. All right, so let's just open this up to any random old page. And I want to add my jelly prints on here, so let's do that. I usually keep like cardstock or parchment paper, but I just used the last of my parchment paper the other day, putting in backgrounds in my little composition notebook, so I need to go to Dollar Tree. So how I do full page images is I go around the edges in my permanent glue stick, really making sure I get those edges. I'm going over the edge of my paper so I know the edge gets glue on it. A lot of times I don't think people are actually covering the edge of their paper. And then I'm going to go in with a different glue stick. This is my Doris Extra Large glue stick, not to be confused with their jumbo glue stick. The jumbo is a size smaller than this. I will look, but I probably won't link this item in the description because the last time I looked, it was $17 for just one glue stick, which is astronomical. And then I looked again and it was gone. Like, you couldn't buy it. So I don't know if they're like remaking some right now or what the deal is with that, but that's what was going on there. And I refuse to have you guys pay $17 for that glue stick. While it's a fun glue stick, it's huge, it works great. I don't think it's worth $17 for one glue stick. Oops, I forgot to remove that. There we go. That's just my opinion. Obviously, of course, you guys could buy whatever the heck you want. Spend your money how you want to spend your money. Okay, sweater has to come off. That's right. It's getting real. Actually, it's just really hot today. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to get out some of these wrinkles. I mean, it really doesn't matter all that much, but I did notice that this paper does get wrinkly. Okay, so now I want to turn it over. And I like to do the same thing on the other side. I can really emphasize the spine on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that for now, let it dry, and I'm going to move on, just skip a few more pages and do this all over again. So we will just keep repeating. Glue and repeat. Glue and repeat. Heavy around the edges. I go over them several times. It's really important that you press down your paper after you add your full-size image on there so that your paper actually adheres to the image that you're putting down. Now, I use this big glue stick because it makes me feel like a kid because it's so big. But also because it just helps me save on my expensive permanent glue sticks, you know. And it covers more surface quickly. You know, my hands get tired. All right, here we go. This one got a little ripped, but I'm still going to use it because I don't care. I think that adds to it. And I can just ink it. I can add a little bit of ink on it, and it'll be totally fine. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Whoopsie. Okay. Got a little wrinkle right there. No wrinkle zone. It's like Botox in a composition notebook. All right, here we go. Sun's out, guns out. This guy's walking by my house. He took his shirt off and he's... Anyways. It's hot. Wish I could just take my shirt off. Okay, so we have that piece. That'll be great. And then obviously some of this is going to get trimmed off. So I'm just letting them dry before I cut it off. That way I can just kind of mass do this. Okay, I just skipped another chunk of paper. And I'm just working all on the right side just because it's easier for me. Another thing you can do if you don't like your glue book to be too chunky is you can just work on the right side. Don't glue anything on the back. And don't let people bully you and tell you you're wasting space or whatever. Just live your life. They can do what they want to do with their art, and you can do what you want to do with your art, okay? I get so sick and tired of everybody complaining about everybody else's stuff they do. Like, worry about yourself and what you use. Who cares what Joe Schmo uses in their art? It doesn't affect you in any way, so just let them live their life. That was my public service announcement for the day. Okay. Ooh, there we go. All right, we will add, let's see, what colors do I have left? All right, let's add this one. It goes this way. Oh, I love using this paper. It's almost like thicker tissue paper or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's pretty cool. So like I said, I got mine at Daiso. It was about $2. It was $2.25 for 50 sheets, which I don't think is bad. That's actually a great deal. Okay. So we have that one now. Perfect. All right. Skipping another few pages here. So I like to use thin paper when I add pages into my glue book. The reason being is it helps it not bulk up too much, because we're adding paper, we're adding images, you know, you're adding all the things. And while a chunky glue book is phenomenal, it's also hard to work in, and it can get too chunky, at least for me. So that's my personal preference. Obviously, you don't have to do yours this way. You can do it whatever makes you happy. But that's why I use thinner paper. Let me just take that off. So some thin paper suggestions are wrapping paper, tissue paper, napkin, origami paper, magazine images, things of that nature. I also will use like inexpensive scrapbook paper because it's usually thinner. So I love an inexpensive scrapbook paper. Wrapping paper is another one. Did I say that? I think I did. But wrapping paper is one of my favorite things. I haven't used it in quite some time because I had a basket in here where I kept all my wrapping paper rolls that I wanted to use for collage. Okay. Let's turn this over. So I'm just going to add these, like, what, 8 prints or something like that, or 6 prints. And then the rest I will use magazine images, most likely. Maybe some origami paper, not quite sure. Maybe some thin scrapbook paper, but mostly magazine images. All right, skip some more. Where are my pages? Oh, shoot. I only have a couple more for... I didn't even make it to the back page yet, the back signature yet. Jeez, Nicole. Okay. There we go. Do any of you follow the Idaho 4 case? Oh my gosh. The victim impact statements. Chef's kiss. My goodness. The Gonzalez family. Man. Especially Olivia, the Gonzalez sister. Oh my gosh. Her statement was fire. I have never heard an impact statement so controlled and just amazing. She just ripped him to shreds. It was phenomenal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the 4 college students in Idaho that tragically lost their life to a peasant of a man who is now spending the rest of his life in prison. Anyways, just interesting. I was wondering. I know a lot of you also follow true crime, so I was just wondering what you guys thought about that, because, man, it's been on my mind. I just can't get over how crazy that was. It was a great judge in that case, too. Okay, that looks good. I did misjudge it a little bit on the bottom, but, like, I'm probably going to glue something right there anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, the dreaded back of the glue book. The place that Nicole hardly ever glues. I don't know what it is. I hate working in the back. I hate it. I just never do it. And I almost always, if there's pages left over in my glue book, they're most definitely in the back. Or on the left side. I also tend to not work. The right side is my sweet spot. Probably because I'm right-handed. That would make sense. Done, Nicole. Oh, guess what's back, guys? I got to tell the glue crew yesterday, but yesterday the speed trap reappeared. If you're new here, across the street from my house, my city has, I live in a residential neighborhood, but people tend to go really fast down my street. So every once in a while they'll put a speed trap out just to, like, tell people, hey, take it down a notch, bro. And my family, we love it. Because people, you can hear in my videos, people totally speed down my street. It's insane for it being a residential street and people just fly. So anyways, we love it. The downside is, well, okay, the upside is it's literally straight in front of me right now. I'm like, it's like dead center right in front of me. The bad thing is I can't read what it's saying because it's right in front of me. Oh my gosh, these two little kids are in front of my house. I thought they were coming up to my house. We have like new neighbors down the street and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they have 6 kids. I only see 5 right now, but I'm pretty sure there's 6. And they just walk around up and down the street all the time and around the block and stuff. But 2 of the little girls, they have little squirt bottles and they're doing like a little water fight. So cute. They're probably like 3 and 5. Oh, now FedEx is here. You know, it's always excitement when your window's right here because you can just see all the things. Okay, so now that we went through and added all of these, I'm going to go back through really quick and cut off all the edges, and then I will be back. Okay, so now I have totally prepped my composition notebook for some gluing. I have some background images here that I can glue in here later. I added some scrapbook paper to the front here, and then I added some of my calligraphy paper gel prints in here. I also removed a ton of papers from this glue book, approximately, or composition notebook, I should say. I removed 40 pieces of paper, 20 from each side, from the middle, and then when I was done with that, I added a heaping amount of glue down the middle here, and then I added washi tape, and then I made sure to press it down so it really adhered to the book. And now the strings are intact and I am ready to start gluing. So for me, I think what I'll do is start towards the back and really focus on getting some images on here since I tend to struggle with that. And then I have, I don't know how many I added, 6 or something of these. I really like the calligraphy paper. I think it's really cool. I definitely want to do a few more prints and then add those in here. But the rest of the papers pretty much will be magazine images, such as, you know, things that I find would be easy to add an image on top of. Like images like this, where I can, you know, at least eliminate most of the words, if not all, and then I can just cover the words up with something. Or I like to use a lot of rooms, so I have, you know, office space and things like this. And then I have cool images like this, where the only thing I might add is maybe a quote or some more, you know, strawberries, or a quote about art or something funny. I don't know. Maybe I'll replace this person with somebody else. So things like that. This is an image I've had for a long time and I'm ready to just glue it in here. And I'm excited because, so it's like space, you have flying cars and stuff. I want to add like an alien or something to it. I think that'd be really cute. So that is what I will do. And then tomorrow we can come back and end the week with playing in our new composition notebook glue book. You can see the space here in the middle where I removed those pages. I absolutely love it. I am so excited to finish it. And I will add the date this time. I never do that. So I will add the date in here when I start and when I finish. Maybe I'll do that like on this. Words are hard. Maybe I'll do that back here. But you could also in the front here add a pocket or add like a manila envelope where you can put all your fussy cut images if you want. I keep mine in a basket, so I'm not going to do that. But it would be nice if you take your glue book places, like you go to the library or you go to a coffee shop or something, if you want to add a pocket or an envelope here, and then you can put all your images in. All right, everyone, that is going to conclude today's video. I had quite a few people request that I show how I do this on camera, so that is what I did today. If you still have any questions, please feel free to ask. Let me know in the comment section. I hope you guys all have a fabulous day. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, friends.